You are listening to the Retina UK National Peer Support Group Summer Meeting, recorded Tuesday, the 29th of July, 2025.
Good evening and welcome to our summer National Peer Support Group meeting from Retina UK. My name is Mark Baxter. I am the Information and Support Coordinator, and this is a seasonal peer support group meeting for those that want to get involved in all sorts of different topics and subjects that live around the UK that may not have a local peer support group in their area, or you find that it's difficult to get to your local peer support group. So our national peer support group was set up to make geographical boundaries a thing of the past, so we can all get together and share all sorts of different topics. And tonight's guest speaker is Emma Scott from Calibre Audio, and she's going to be sharing this amazing service and how we can all get involved in audiobooks for the visually impaired and the disabled. Thank you very, very much, Emma, for joining us. Over to you. Thank you.
Thank you very much for having me. Hello, everyone. I'm delighted to be here to tell you a little bit more about Calibre Audio. Some of you might have already come across us and know a little bit about us already. So for those of you that don't, we are a national charity that loan audiobooks to anyone who has trouble or who can't read print due to a learning condition. So whether that's a print disability. So basically, if you've got anything like a learning disability, any sort of visual impairment, or any medical condition that means you can't hold or manipulate a printed book, we're here for you to loan audiobooks. The Calibre Audio is based in Aylesbury in Buckinghamshire. And just to give you a little bit of background history, so we started out actually 50 years ago. So we actually celebrated our 50th birthday last year, and we were known as Calibre Cassette Library. So back then we had cassette tapes that we would send out to people, and gradually we've evolved into Calibre Audio. So Calibre was set up it was the brainchild of 3 women in North London, and one of those women had a son that was visually impaired. And at the time, there wasn't a huge amount available that was readily accessible in audio and that could be played on a sort of a inexpensive player as well. You used to have quite sort of expensive players to put anything into. So they decided to set up the charity for anyone sort of that would qualify with a print disability, and be able to loan books out as a lending postal service, as was then. So I am Director of Commissioning and Editorial, and that just means I've got the lovely job of buying all the lovely books into Calibre, and also I also have the job of liaising with publishers and our partners to try and get as many books as possible into Calibre's collection too. So that's sort of the main basis of what I do, and I'm a librarian by trade too. So it goes with the territory that I absolutely love books too. So just to give you a little bit of information about our service, so we are in all effects we work like a library, so we will loan you audiobooks, and we are a free service to anyone that's under 25 or to anyone that uses our USB memory stick service. For anyone that wants to use our digital service, so you can download or stream books from us as well, if you prefer to do it that way. And there is a small charge just for that service, which is £3 a month or £30 a year, that we had to just put in after COVID times. And as soon as we can take that charge away, we will do. But at the moment, it's just that initial sort of costing. But then that means that you get unlimited books in the time for that year to take out. So as quickly as you can read books, you can take them out. So the way to join, you can basically contact us in several different ways. So you can email us, you can phone our membership services team, or you can join online. You can either do it via a form, we can do it over the phone, we can send you a form as well if you prefer that. We have 3 different ways you can listen to our books. So we have the digital service, which is the downloads and streaming. and you can access that once you've joined our service. You can access it using your membership number and your password, and you can access and download an app that we have our books through, which is called Dolphin Easy Reader. So you would download that app onto your device and then log into it, and you can actually then just have access to all of the books in our library and download on the go. And that means you don't have to, once you've downloaded the books, you don't have to be tied to the internet. You can have that on your device, and then you can go, you know, if you're going about on traveling or anything like that, that's all on your device there ready for you. You can also stream our books though, so that does require an internet connection. And you can do that via our online streaming platform, which is called Calibre, which is also where you can search our catalogue for the books that we've got in our collection as well. Again, you would just need to log in with your membership number and your password, and you can access all of the books in our collection that way too. The other way we have, we've got an Alexa skill now as well. So if any of you have got an Alexa in your house, I shouldn't really say that in case I set one off, I suppose, in the background. But basically, if you've got an Alexa, then you can download our Alexa skill, and you can then stream your books using your account via the Alexa too. The other way, that's our digital services, and our physical service that we have is on USB memory stick. So we can send you a book out through the post on a memory stick, and then you can plug it into any device with a USB stick port. So whether that's, you can play on your laptops or any other device, but we do, there are players that you can get that the RNIB sell, and people like Synaptic, who you might have heard of, and they will sell these little tiny players, which are essentially just speakers with a USB port in the top, and just the basic functions of turning it on and off and the volume, and then forward, and you can skip forward and back very easily on them as well. But they are designed for people with sort of visual impairment, so they're very, very easy to use and very easy to feel around, so that you can put the USB stick on the top. These will also bookmark as well, so if you want to stop or pause the book at any point and you come back to it, it will play again in the same place. So that's the other physical version we have. Those books come via the post via a method called Articles for the Blind, which is a Royal Mail subscription. And that means that we don't, and you don't have to pay for sending them out either. So they'll come in a little zipped wallet, and you can obviously unload, take the USB stick out and put it into your player. And once you finish with it, you just pop the USB stick back in the wallet. There's an address label card in the front which will have your address on, and you just take it out and turn it round, and one of the corners is actually cut out, so you can tell which way round the label goes. And the address label on the other side is just back to us, so you can just post that back into a post box or ask someone to do it for you, and that will come back to us. And as soon as we get that book back, then it will automatically, once we've returned it, it will generate another book out to you. You can have up to 5 memory sticks out at a time, and you can have the same of downloads and streaming too. So that means you should never really, hopefully, be without a book at any point. If you download and stream, the benefits of that obviously is you can choose your own books, so you can go in and select what you want. You can still do that if you have the USB memory stick service as well. But you need to make sure you've got books on your list, so you need to make sure you've got quite a healthy request list, because obviously as soon as a book comes back, then we will send one out to you. So you can manage that again via Calibre. You can actually go in and manage your account online, or you can call our membership services team and they will add and remove books for you for whatever you want to read. If you're not quite sure what you want to read either, so all our books are in a library, so that in a library format, so we will have them in different genres and categories, in non-fiction categories. So if you don't quite know the titles or the authors, but you know what you like to read, to get you started, if you like detective and mystery or thrillers or family sagas or whatever, then we can just put that as a category as a request on your list. And what that will then do is it will just push you books out from our collection, so you won't know quite what you're getting, which can be good and bad, depending on what you get. But you might be pleasantly surprised with, and you might find new authors that way. But we also say, if you don't like a book, if you get a book that way and you don't like it, life's too short, so just literally put it back in the wallet and send it back again, and we will send you one out. So you don't have to listen to a book that's not interesting you. Just return it to us and we'll send another one through to you. We have also got, so if you're unsure about the sort of downloads and streaming, we have got guides that we can send to you as well. And our membership services team is always on the end of the phone to help you out. So we are there for that. The other way as well, we do have another way of downloading. So we subscribe to the Libby app as well, which is in quite a lot of public libraries. So the Libby app, again, you would download, and via our, once you've joined, you just log in with your membership number and we'll give you a password for that one. And then you can access all the books via that way. So it just depends how you want to use or access the books, really. So we have, in terms of the books and the collection, we have over 20,000 books currently in our collection, which are all unabridged audiobooks. And again, we aim to have the stock of a good public library, so you would expect to see all your popular non-fiction bestsellers and fiction bestsellers as well. But we do have quite a unique collection because we will also put books in our collection that members have requested. So if members can't get hold of a book because it's only available in print and not in audio, then if we can, we will also put it and add it into our collection. So we will have books that other people won't have. There are obviously other audio platforms and providers, but our collection, and you can be members of all of them and subscribe to all of them, but we will also have books that potentially you might not be able to get anywhere else. As I mentioned, as part of my job, I liaise with all the publishers. So what I try and do is get as many books as possible into our collection so that we've got as diverse a collection as possible, but also so that we're offering as many books as possible to our members, so that because our members might only be able to access our books through our service. So I liaise with all of the very well-known publishers and the independent publishers to try and get as many agreements in place with them as possible. Some of them very kindly donate their titles to us, which means we can obviously use the funds we would use to buying it to buy other books from the smaller publishers, which is great. But where a book is available commercially in audio, then we do have to go to those publishers to see if we can get it in and if they will give us permission to have the book in a collection if we don't already have an agreement with them. If we do, it's very quick and simple, so we can just request the book from them and it will be in the collection very quickly. If we don't, then there's a bit of a process to go through to sort of explain who we are and what we do and sort of ask if we can have access to it. And we're always looking for publisher partners and sort of trying to get as many books in as possible. The other way that we can do it, so because we are what's known as sort of an authorised entity where we act on behalf of our members, under a piece of copyright law, we can actually record our own books using our volunteer narrators. So there's still a huge shortfall, although in recent years audio has taken a massive boom. Particularly again through COVID, because people were trying to look to access their books in different formats because they couldn't get out or they couldn't get into their libraries. And then audio it just took off hugely. So publishers in that respect are also putting more books into audio and investing in it, which is great. Particularly in getting the accessible versions available, but there is still a huge shortfall. So I think there's still less than 10% of all books that are published that go into audio, because there are an awful lot of books published. So what we're trying to do is kind of get as many books into the collection as possible. And what we can do is we don't actually now have to, under the copyright law that we operate under, we don't have to ask permission from the publishers or the copyright holders to record it. We can actually just purchase a copy of the book and then we can send it out to one of our volunteer narrators who will sit and record the book for us. And that's another way of getting books into the collection. And I have to say, quite a lot of the books that we record that way are directly via requests from members. And so that's where there will be books in the collection that people have asked for that other people just won't have in audio. It also makes it means we've got a great range and of books too, because there's obviously all sorts of interests. When we get asked to record a book, if we get requested and we need to record it ourselves, we do just look at a few things first of all. So we're always looking, first of all, that the book will transcribe well into audio. So we're just looking to make sure it reads well, it flows. If it's non-fiction, we're looking to make sure there's not things like lots of pictures or maps or photos that will mean that either would need describing or that we couldn't leave out because it would be detrimental to the text. So that's one of the reasons we might refuse to do a book if it was too complicated to do just a straightforward read. We're also looking to make sure that it has appeal, so that not just the one person that's asking it, whether there would be more people that would potentially be interested in it. And also, most importantly, we're looking to make sure we can source a narrator to narrate it, because as you all know, if you listen to anything, whether that's audiobooks or anything else, people speaking, and particularly with books, is really important. And particularly if you have come across that book before and you've known it in another form, it's really important that you get those voices and those characters right. So we do take that, we will have a look at the book and make sure we match the right narrators with the right voices. But that just then means we've got a really good collection in our stock. It does take a little bit longer to get those books in. So the recording process, we're obviously trying to compete with the commercial audio. So we want to make sure we've got a copy that stands up to commercial audio. So it takes a little bit longer because it might take up to 3 months for a narrator to record it. And then it goes through a checking. So we've got volunteer checkers that then sit and listen to the books at home. And then once that's done, if there's any edits, it will go back for edits and then it gets put in. So it can take up to 6 months and longer to get a book that we've recorded into the collection. Whereas if a commercial version is available, it can be as quick. I've had books that I requested just last week that are in the library this week. So it's very quick to get. It can be very quick to get the commercial books in and available. But it does mean that, if there is don't despair if there's a book that you really need and it's not in audio, then we're more than happy to look at that, and we love looking at the requests that members send in. So that's kind of the book choices that were just very quickly mentioning the volunteers there. So we couldn't operate without our volunteers. So we have roughly about 140 volunteers, and that's nationally, and also volunteers that come into our buildings in Buckinghamshire as well. So those volunteers that come in do various amounts of admin tasks, but they also will help to issue and return the books. So the USB sticks that come in, they all have to, when they come in from the Royal Mail, they all are virus checked and then returned. And then we wipe all of the sticks, so the books don't stay on the stick. They then get all wiped, and we reload books onto the stick. So the volunteers will help with all of that. And a lot of them do a lot of that adding of the books and putting the books on the sticks, which when we do sort of thousands a day, that's it's a huge amount, and means we get them out faster to our members. The other thing with the volunteers, so I mentioned the volunteer narrators and checkers. So again, we've got the most we've ever had actually. We've got about 100 volunteer narrators that are all around the country. And they do sort of so anyone can be a volunteer narrator for us, but our narrators that we've got currently are made up of a lot of them are either ex people that have worked in the audio industry or people that are sort of just starting out, so lots of voiceover artists and people that want that kind of work experience really. And we've got people that have retired and that are used to using their voices, teachers, actors, and that kind of want to carry on and sort of give back. So they are, a lot of them are already in profession, or the profession of that kind of voiceover artist work. What we ask them to do is, if they're interested, we just get them to do a bit of an X Factor kind of audition. So we get them to just send a little recording in of them reading something that they really like, and then we will listen to their voice and just make sure we've got room in our voices already for them. So we don't want too many voices that sound the same, because we would struggle to sort of give everyone a book to read. And then we will either loan them equipment to record the books, or a lot of them have their own equipment, so they're happy to sort of do that and use their own equipment, and we'll just give them some training on it. But that is how we can get. I mean, we put each year the amount of books that we're putting in is going up, and we put over 2,000 books in the collection last year. And a proportion of that, so about a quarter of the books would be sort of Calibre recorded books. So they do account for a lot of the audio that is available, which is great, because otherwise people just wouldn't be able to hear them otherwise. The volunteer checkers that I mentioned, they do a great job, because they are literally our quality control. So they're listening at home to the book to make sure there's no noises. Some of the narrators will admit they get very into the stories, and they can't necessarily hear dogs barking, or in one case we've got one of our lovely narrators who does loads for us, but he lives out in the country on a near an estate that has peacocks. So he keeps sending us blooper reels of peacocks, see what he has to contend with as he's recording in the background. So you can get all sorts. It can, it's not just sort of the dogs barking and things like that. It can be all sorts in the background. So because they can get immersed in it, we need that check. So the volunteer checkers do a great job, as well of just making sure it's of the quality that we need, and pointing out if there's any gaps or anywhere it's like there's obviously missing parts of the story or whatever. And then that comes back to us, and they sort of feedback, and once we've sorted out any problems, then the book is ready to go into the collection from that. So I've already said we choose books. Again, one of the ways of sort of us choosing and putting books in the collection is by our members requesting them. But one of the other ways is we obviously look at national trends and what's happening in the book charts sort of currently. So we'll go at that, and we'll make sure that we've got a good coverage of the books that are appearing and that people are talking about. We'll also look and make sure we know what's sort of going on nationally. So if there's any events or anniversaries, this year it's the 250th anniversary of Jane Austen. So we'd have all of her books. It'd be a great chance for us to promote other books that are written about her as well. So there's lots of non-fiction books too. So we're looking to make sure we've got a good coverage of that. Anything seasonally. So whether we've got Wimbledon on, or any sort of sporting events, or any birthdays or anything like that are happening. Then we look just to make sure that we can cover those two. So that's one of the reasons, and how we sort of get books into our collection. So that's we do have also 70 categories, different categories to choose from. That's in the genres. So that's all the fiction categories, and the non-fiction categories as well, from sort of biographies to sort of the science categories, and languages and everything else. So that's what we've sort of broken down to, that are all on there. The other thing we do, so obviously as a audiobook charity, we're very, and from the backgrounds that we all have too, we're very passionate about book groups. So we do support nationally 37 book groups that use our book group service. So we do actually have a specialist book group service, where we will loan a certain amount of books to an organisation that has set up a book group. Now, we've got book groups that are in libraries, so some libraries host them. We've got book groups that are hosted and facilitated by other sort of sight loss organisations and other organisations that cater for print disabilities. And they will set up the book group themselves. And then what we do is we enable them to be able to listen to the same book at the same time. So a lot of places won't have, let's say public libraries won't necessarily have the amount of books that we have, and that are unable to, and where you've got groups that we serve, some groups that have up to 20 people in a group. So it's not always going to be possible to have that amount of books in one go in audio. So what we do is we send the books out once a month to each of those groups, so that they have the ability to all discuss the same book at the same time. There is a small charge for that service that we have, and the groups, we will also make book recommendations, and they will also request books from us. So that's another way where, if we don't have a book in the library, they'll ask if we can get it, or they'll I sort of create a book group list to make it easier for book groups to sort of see what might be good to, rather than trawling through our whole collection of 20,000 audiobooks. I try and get sort of book group lists together of books that might be interesting to book groups. But they can also, if they don't spot anything on there that they want, then they can ask us for the books, and we'll add it that way as well. So we do sort of give extra help and time to them, because we're so passionate about them. We know we love book groups and what they can do. We also have just started in the last couple of years facilitating book groups ourselves. So I just sort of saying to Mark, I've just come from one today. So we've got a really good working relationship with our local public libraries in Buckinghamshire, and we host some book groups in their libraries. So we've got Great Missenden, Aylesbury, and we've got our own in-house one. So we actually have a book group in our offices in Calibre, and we're just starting up one in Prince's Risborough and Wendover libraries as well. So we're sort of going around the area to see if we can get as wide a coverage and get as many people involved as for our members as possible. So that can be current members or people that haven't joined us yet but would qualify to sort of join our service, can come along. And we are hosting those all around, and it's something, again, it's just something that we feel really strongly about, because it's just a great way to, the first thing you want to do when you've read a good book or even a bad book is tell people about it. So it's lovely to be able to have those conversations, and also for us as well, because we're not a building that people can walk into. So we get to go actually out and meet people, meet our members face to face, which is lovely. We also do have, and this is another thing we would like to expand, is we've got at the moment one telephone book group. So we host a telephone book group with a handful of our members around the country, which happens once a month, and that's something we would like to offer more of. So if anyone was interested in that, again, we could certainly look at joining the one we've got currently, and we could, if we had more interest, then we would certainly look at trying to start up some more as well. But that's another option too. And we also have the facility to be able to do online book groups. So that's another thing we're looking at in the future as well. If people, because obviously everyone can't always get out of the house, and or even just get to the locations where we've got groups happening too. So that's another thing that we offer. We do have, so just to keep in touch with everybody, so we have our member newsletter that goes out monthly, and that will have news about books and our services, so that you can see what's up and coming with us and what's happening. We also send out a monthly book bulletin, which is just dedicated to a book. So we'll have a pick of our best sort of new books that we've gone in. Because we put so many books in each week, it can be hard, they can get a bit lost. So we try and highlight those, the books that people might, want to listen to. But we also produce a quarterly publication, which is called For Your Ears Only, which we produce in print that we can email out, but also in audio, so we can issue that out as well. And you can also find that on our website, but that lists all of the previous 3 months books that we've added into the collection, and it's broken down by genre and category, so you can easily skip to the ones that you're interested in anyway, because it can be there's quite a lot of books that go in, so it can be quite a long thing to listen to. But that is another way of knowing sort of the new books that go in. So it's our ways of sort of keeping in touch too, really. The other thing I just must tell you about as well. So last year for our 50th, we started up some, because it was our 50th, we wanted to get sort of more conversations about books going, and introduce people to new authors and titles. So we had a mini online book festival where anyone could look at the interviews that we had online, but also we started up a writing competition. So it was called Inclusive Voices, and we're doing it again this year. So we just started it in June, and it finishes on the 5th of September. So if anyone is interested in writing and write short stories, we've got the competition. It's the only criteria is it's 550 words or less. It has to have, so we coincided it with High Vis Fortnight, which happens in public libraries each year in June, and that always has a theme. And High Vis is for libraries to basically showcase all of their facilities and technologies and the formats, so the books, the large print books and audio books, and showcase them to their members that have print disabilities or vision impairments, and basically they can put on events and show people sort of the different accessible technologies they might have. So we launched the competition to coincide with that, and their theme this year was ABC, which is audio, braille and community. So what we're asking is, as the theme of the stories or poems, is to either put audio, so you either have to mention audio, braille or community, or make it a theme in that. So that's the only 2 criteria. And then you can submit it in audio format, written format or video, whatever's best for you. And you can submit that via our website. We've got a page, the Inclusive Voices competition page. So you just fill in a little form and you can upload your story there. You can also, if you can't do it that way, then just get in contact with our membership services, because we can take and fill in a form over the phone, and you can post it. You can post your entry in as well. Whatever's easiest for you. There's a way to enter in any way. There are so we've got judges to judge the so we've got prizes across all the age categories, from the children to the adults. So it's all ages and abilities. And we've got first, second, and third prizes. First prize is an Amazon Echo Dots. Second prize is a £20 voucher, and then third prize is just some Calibre merchandise and some audiobooks. So if anyone is interested, then do please visit our site to find more, or just give us a call and we can tell you about it as well. So that's other than sort of just giving you information about sort of how to get in contact with us. So you can call us obviously on the phone number, and we've got membership services who are there for the time that we're open, and you can also email us as well. And we can I can give you those details and pass them on to Retina UK, and probably Mark will sort of send them out. But if anyone's got any questions at all, please do let me know. And thank you very much for listening as well.
Thank you so much. Wow, there's so much going on at Calibre Audio. It's just amazing. So much going on, so many volunteers. I had no idea that you've got so many volunteers, and your book library. It just seems like an amazing service. So if anyone is interested in getting involved with Calibre Audio, we will be sending out a follow-up email with the audio recording of this meeting and any information, all the information that Emma's talked about in terms of how to get involved, the readers that you can listen to it on, and other devices as well. And also I do have a walkthrough guide on how to set up new skills on Alexa devices. So if anyone's worried what is a skill or how do I activate those, I can actually send that information out to you as well. If anyone does want to come and meet the Calibre team, we have our annual conference in London this year on Saturday the 20th of September, and the Calibre Audio team are going to be there exhibiting. So if you want to come meet them in person, then please do register on our website for our annual conference, where you can meet Emma and the team, and also an array of other exhibitors as well. So thank you again, Emma. That was amazing. Does anybody have any questions? Have we got any hands up? Or
yeah, Sharon's got her hand up.
So Sharon, over to you.
Sorry, Mark, I always seem to have a question. That was so informative, Emma. I have been a member for Calibre for years and years. Can't remember how I became a member or why I became a member, but I know I haven't accessed your services, possibly because I was unsure of what you actually offered. I certainly would be interested in your telephone call type thing, and maybe even think about even trying to work with you to facilitate something along those lines. That would be really interesting.
Oh, brilliant. Thank you so much. Yeah,
I'd get in touch with you, obviously, off this call. The other question I was going to ask, you said for if local groups wanted to have their own book club, and you said there was a small charge. What type of charge are we talking? I was interested in that. And just out of pure nosiness, if you're having to buy books in from other publishers and things like that, what do they generally cost? Because it's something I know how much it costs from Audible to buy something. So I'd just be just out of pure curiosity, if you're able to share that.
Yeah, no, that's no problem. Yeah, no, and that's it's funny enough. It's a question that I've actually been on phone calls with members, ringing them up about various things, and it comes up quite a lot. They're quite interested in it, so that's not a problem at all. So just to answer the book group question first of all, so our service, it's a yearly subscription fee, and what it is it's £15 per member in the group. So depending on how big your group is, it will be £15 per member, and that's just for the year. But that doesn't fluctuate. So if you within the year, if you have additional members, we won't charge you again. So we just charge you yearly. So if you start out, and the thing is, if you start a group up, what we also do is we give you 3 months grace, because it's quite hard to set up a book group sometimes. So it's lovely when you've got it running, it's very easy to run, but the actual admin in just setting it up and getting everyone sort of settled in,
Yeah.
you kind of need sometimes a little bit of time to sort of, work out that it's going to work for you and that the service will work for you. So we give a 3 months grace period, so you can have the service for free, and then after 3 months we'll invoice you for that. But then you get it for that year once you've paid. And as I said, if you add, through that time you promote and you get another 3 members, we won't charge you again. We'll just invoice you for the amount that you have at the following year's time. So yeah, it's just a lot easier that way. So yeah, and it sort of saves a bit of sort of messy invoicing as well. And it's easier for the the authorities and the councils and things as well in doing that. And you can anyone, it can be anyone that joins up to our service. It doesn't matter who. So, and the other thing, so to ask you about the books and how we get them in. So with the commercial publishers vary, so it depends on who we get them from. So I won't name names, but they can vary from us costing, it might cost us £30 to get an audiobook in, and the publisher dictates what we can do with that book. So they'll say, right, you can have the books for 30 or £50, but that means you can only have 15 copies of the book available across all the formats. So we'll have to divide it up across the streaming download and memory stick. The top amount that we will pay for an audiobook is £150, and there are some big publishers that do charge us that. So it will restrict on how many we can order from them, because obviously just ordering 8 books from them at that charge, it's a lot of money. Plus so there is still VAT on audiobooks. So we have to pay the VAT too. So it can be quite costly. The other place, so we do subscribe to Libby, as I said, and that does cost us a charge in order to buy the books off of them. So all of our books aren't available on Libby as a platform because we can't upload our Calibre recorded books on there, and it is a platform where we have to buy the books from them. So we have got an agreement with one of the publishers who very kindly donate the books to us and have agreed to have them through Libby. So we do have an awful lot of books on there because of that. But the other books we have to buy, and they are quite expensive. And they are only those books, there will only be 1 copy for 1 user, so you'd have to put a request on those ones. And sort of then, so you will eventually get it, but it's just sort of like putting a reservation on. But they're quite expensive to buy, so we don't buy an awful lot from them because of that. So yeah, in answer to, so basically the books cost anywhere between sort of £30 to 150, but those prices do reflect what we can do with them, because the ones that cost 150, I think those ones we can have unlimited audiobooks, so we can put in as many as we want into the collection. So that's what you're paying for. That's it, really.
But thanks very much. That's really informative. Thank you.
Very much for your question. Thanks very much for your question, Sharon. We've got Perm's got a hand up, and we've also got a comment in the comments box from Moni. So what's your question, Perm?
Hello.
Oh,
can you hear me?
Yes, yes, Perm, yes.
Hi, Emma. Thank you very much for your brilliant introduction. Emma, I've got a couple of questions. I actually work for a local sight loss charity, and a lot of our users can't download the Dolphin Easy Reader app. So you offer an alternative on the phone, and some of them will struggle to even remember passwords and things. So
yeah.
And do you offer anything for someone who's got dual sensory with hearing impairment as well?
So what, in terms of just being able to get the information to them?
Yes, of course. And also, if they can't, obviously you're saying that you can purchase the player, but some of them might find it costly if they're not, if it's outside their budget. So how much are the players?
Again, they vary, so it depends where you get them from. So the Synaptic players, I think, vary from about £40. The RNIB ones will again vary from, I think they're between £40 and £60, but they've got a smaller player and a bigger player. So they can range between 40 to 60. You can get cheaper versions on other sort of platforms. So I think Amazon will do sort of smaller players for a little bit cheaper than that as well. but they will, depending on where you get them from. So Synaptic and RNIB, obviously those devices are really manufactured for people with visual impairment, so they're a little bit easier to sort of be able to navigate and feel and your way around, and they've got sort of basic functions. And that, you know, the color contrast is there for them as well. So there is that. What you can do, we have we usually we did used to sell them actually, but the players, the company that sold them went out of business, so we could no longer do that via us. So we always usually put people to Synaptic or the RNIB to be able to get the players. They're the two ones that we sort of recommend because we just know the players. So that's what, but as you say, it can be prohibitive to people, even that sort of cost in that respect. But it's worth getting in contact with some of your local site organisations, because some of them have, like, so for example, Bucks Vision have players, and they have subsidies where they can actually give players to people. Also British Wireless for the Blind Fund, I think.
I was going to say that, yeah,
well.
but there is a set criteria. To be honest with you, I mean, I found it today. Somebody was interested in books, and mainly kind of succumbing to Audible, but again, the subscriptions and that are very expensive. But I did say I was coming on tonight, and I'll be able to relay some information back to them. Some of them aren't so techy. Some of them find it difficult because of dexterity in their hands. And some of them say that, there is a criteria that you've got to be registered with a VI, but some of them aren't. They're borderline, so it kind of penalises them. To be honest.
Is that so those organisations that give those devices out, you have to actually be registered, do you? Okay. Yeah.
No, with British Wireless for the Blind you do.
Okay.
I know that. I know that with them you do. And I was just trying to see if there's an alternative, just to make their life a bit easier, really, because I do a lot of the tech side anyway, and books always comes up. We have downloaded, for people with smart devices and tablets who are savvy. I'm not saying that they're not, but remembering passwords and things, I mean, it can become very difficult and challenging for them. So I just want to make their life as easy as possible.
Once you've logged into the Dolphin Easy Reader, then you don't have to log in again. So it will basically, unless there's an upgrade or something that happens, or your device sort of powers up, then the information should just stay in there for you. So you shouldn't have to log in and out. That's the only one thing I will say about that. And because you're right, it is, that's what we're trying to, it is, we want to make it, try and make it as easy as possible.
Absolutely.
And sometimes if you don't have even, particularly as well, if you're on your own and you don't have anyone that you can call on around you as well, then it's even more difficult. Some people are very lucky that they've got family members or whatever that can help them out. And then once you're on particularly sort of again with the Alexa skill, once you've got through that bit of downloading and if you can get that far, then it's very easy, because it's all sort of voice command and you can get in, and you don't have to keep sort of logging in and things like that. But it's what we'll try and do is we'll try and help as much as we possibly can. So although there's nothing sort of if people are have hearing problems as well, we will try and find whatever way we can do in order to sort of try and get them on, and sort of try and help as much as we can. We can send information in varying different ways, and we do try and tailor all of our information to be as inclusive as possible as well. But we're always learning as well. So if anyone's got any suggestions, then absolutely, we don't admit to say that we've got it all completely right and spot on. And it's from our members. We learn a lot from our members. In fact, we've got a member panel that meets sort of four times a year, and they come along and we sort of take their feedback on board, and we'll action as well. So that's really important to us. So if you think we can help in any way, then just get in contact with us and we'll try.
Yeah, for me personally, because I'm an avid reader, what I used to of all my books, and it took me a long time to succumb. And you're right about the narration, and some people say, well, it wasn't very good narrated and I didn't enjoy it, and but I'm trying to do my best. It's just to get them engaged again and looking at new different ways of adapting, with their disabilities, be it dual or other neurodivergent. But to be honest with you, a lot of them. That's the other question. Your tablets, to download the Dolphin Easy Reader, you've got to have the latest software updated either on Android or on your iPhones, iOS, because it's not compatible. So that's the other thing I just wanted to highlight as well,
Yeah,
because
it's with that's the thing with any technology, isn't it? Even with your phones and everything, whatever you're trying to do, even if you're trying to download an app of any sort, you know, whether it's audiobooks or anything else, it can be tricky because if you don't keep it updated. And again, that is something that, you know, we're sort of aware of in terms of the technology and trying to make it as, and I think that's where the people that are supplying, you know, those sort of the external platforms are getting better. So we obviously feed back to them as well. So where our members are saying about things, we've actually got those obviously partnerships and with them. So we will feed back to them the problems, and they are trying to make their accessibility functions as good as they can. And they will invest, you know, more money in that over time and try and get that to a point that, you know, hopefully we won't be having this conversation and it won't be necessary. But that there will still, you know, there will always be people that just using the internet won't be possible for, even down to a cost thing. You know, you have to have the internet costs money. It's it can be just prohibitive just for that. So we're sort of very aware of that in trying to keep as many different formats available, and sort of try, you know, so that people can at least in some way hopefully access our services. But again, if we're not getting it right, or you know, we need to sort of do something, then we'll take a look at that.
Thank you so much, Emma. It's I'll join tomorrow in doing my daytime role. Not with Veronica, but I will join. But thank you so much. It's been really useful, and thank you for your introduction.
Thank you very much, Perm. Thanks for that. With the question that Moni's asked in the comments box, she said, "Thank you very much. You're doing wonderful things. How does it compare to Audible?" And I'm going to add something to that as well, and also the RNIB talking books as well. Do you guys ever collaborate with them?
Yeah, so just asking that one, answer that one first actually. Then so I have a relationship with the RNIB. So I speak to the lovely lady in the library there quite regularly, and we have a relationship for two different reasons actually. Obviously, we're both doing the same thing, and we, you know, if we can help each other in any way we can. Then but obviously their kind of remit, although through their bookshare and their students, they help other. So they help students with other print disabilities as well. Obviously, our remit is a bit wider because we blanketly cover print disabilities, whereas they cover sort of those with vision impairments or sight loss. But they do, you know, under their bookshare, I think their remit is a little bit wider too. But what we do is we share. We will share books. So if they have a book that we need, or they need a book from us that we have recorded, so not the commercial versions, because obviously you have to go through the publishers by that. But if we have recorded a book that they need, or vice versa, then we'll happily sort of swap that with them. We do work with them on different awards. So we are accessibility partners for certain things like the Children's Carnegie Awards that happen every year. For the children's books, and also World Book Day that happens among the children as well. So RNIB are a World Book Day partner, where they actually create all the accessible versions of those books, and they will share that audio with us, and we swap books that we've recorded back with them. And we do the same for the Carnegie. So we actually are accessibility partner, where we will record all of the Carnegie shortlisted titles into audio, and we swap them with the RNIB. So we're very reciprocal in that way. And also, so that there's no reason, you know, you can be a member of the RNIB and member of us. It's absolutely fine. The difference will be is that they have obviously a collection of audiobooks than we do, and they will have books that we don't have, and vice versa. So we'll have books that they won't have. So that's it, to get the best of both worlds, really. Then you're sort of getting a world of audiobooks by, you know, if you want to be members of both of us. But that's sort of how we sort of differentiate with the RNIB, and also how we work with them. So yeah, we're in touch with them quite regularly anyway. And with Audible, so Audible have a subscription, obviously, which I think, I mean, unless it's gone up, I think it's £7.99 a month. Somebody could correct me on that if that's wrong. But so they obviously are more expensive than us, and I still believe there is a restriction on how many copies you can have. I might be wrong on that. But obviously for us, you join up. So like for like with Audible, who do obviously, you know, the sort of digital versions of books. If you want to use our streaming or download service, then we're only £3 a month as opposed to the £7.99 for Audible, and you will have for that you'll have unlimited access for that as well. And yes, so no, I've just seen a message come up from Ben as well, so I'll quickly answer that one. So our service is free for anyone under 25, so that's if they want to use the streaming or download and digital service, and for anyone using the USB service it's also free. So if you're over 25, it's just the charge for the digital service is what you pay, which will be the £3 a month or £30 a year, whatever you want to do.
Excellent. Thank you very much for that. I think Sandra had her hand up, but she also put a message in the message box. Did you want to read that one out for us, Caroline?
Yeah, Sandra said we tell people to join Talking Newspaper to get a player.
So
I don't know if you want to chip in on that, Sandra.
So we tell our members if they want to get audio books, we tell them to join the Talking Newspaper, and our local newspaper gives them a synaptic player. So even if they don't want a Talking Newspaper, we just say to them, we'll get the Talking Newspaper, just post the newspaper back, and you've still got the player to do the audio books.
Excellent.
But not all everybody's got Talking Newspapers.
No, we have connections at Retina UK with the Talking Newspaper Federation. They do often visit the Site Village events. So if anyone is interested in a talking newspaper to see whether there is one in your area and whether you can request a player, as Sandra said, then I can actually share some information about the Talking Newspaper Federation as well, just so if you wanted to get involved in that way, you can.
They do just as an aside very quickly. So we work with a talking newspaper that's based in St Albans in Hertfordshire, and they actually lots of different talking newspapers have different activities and events and things that they do. And this one has they have a what's called a talking bookshelf. So they actually do a review of an audiobook each sort of either month or couple of months, and we actually loan them the audiobook for them to be able to review. So that's a really nice, and that's again on their website. So you can actually just anyone can just go on and sort of listen to those, but they'll review the book and then hopefully encourage you to sort of borrow it afterwards. So yeah, they're great in terms of just the different. It's great to have the news there, but they also do lots of other different things too. So it's worth checking them out and seeing if there's one locally in your area.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Emma. Does anyone have, just looking at the time, it's about 5 to 8, 2 minutes to 8. Does anyone have any final questions before I just share a little bit of information from Retina UK?
Sue, have you got your hand up?
Yes.
Yes.
Well, it's not a question, actually. It's just, I've been a Calibre member for a long time, and I must say, I'm very positive about it. I really like For Your Ears Only, which you mentioned, Emma. I think it's great because I do struggle with the emails that come through, because I don't know whether it's just that I'm handling them wrongly, but I find that when it refers to a book that I might like, I go to the book in Safari on my phone and read about it, and then I have to go back to the email, and it goes right back to the beginning of the email, and I think, oh gosh, that's a bit of a hassle. But For Your Ears Only, it's great. You can just read through it and straight through it. It is long, as you're right.
It is long. I was going to say you need extra points for getting through it.
yeah, but it gives me so much, so much material, and gives me a great long list to work through. So that's one thing. One other very important thing I wanted to mention was Calibre don't just produce books. They produce, very interestingly, I think, quite a lot of radio programs, old radio programs. Provide old radio programs, I should say, that I really enjoy listening to sometimes. Dead Ringers is a good favourite of mine. And and Just a Minute and that sort of thing. So, if you fancy a dip into that. And there's one collection of 13 radio plays by J.B. Priestley, for instance. And, there's quite a lot of stuff, really, that it does other than just playing novels. And, lots of other non-fiction stuff, as you say. But, yeah, I think it's got a very wide variety of stuff.
That's what we were going to so interested. It's just interesting you bring that up, because we were thinking about doing a little article on that in sort of Fiore's Only or somewhere to actually highlight all of those, because we're really lucky. So one of the publishers that we get our books from, and who again kindly donate, they deal with all of the BBC audiobooks and the distribution. So what Sue's referring to is that we have now a phenomenal collection of the BBC audiobooks, which ranges from podcasts to dramas. So all of the, Radio 4 dramas, the crime dramas, the radio plays, even things like, so Melvin Bragg has done sort of shows and about sort of the 25 best thinkers and philosophers, etc. They're all on there. So all of those radio shows, all the Doctor Who's, if you're a Doctor Who fan. So we do have a huge wealth of that, and that's really interesting you said that, Sue, because that's just sparked. I might go back to that idea of actually highlighting those as a collection, because we now have a huge amount of them. And there's, like as Sue said, the comedy ones. There's lots of the comedy shows and
crime, the interrogation. That's a good one. And there is. There's really good stuff.
And they can be shorter as well. So if you're not sure about audiobooks, obviously that's quite a nice introduction to them, because there's some really long ones, because they're obviously, like, we've got complete series, but there are also some shorter plays and dramas. So it can be quite nice to sort of dip your toe in the water.
And finally, just about the publishers. Do you find that sometimes that they give permission for some books in a series and not others?
So
because
go on.
I just get annoyed sometimes, because it seems to me that you're well into a series, and then somehow the next book in the series isn't there, and you think, oh, is it because the publisher is refusing permission or whatever?
So what we struggle with, it's not actually necessarily that they're refusing permission, it's actually that more than likely the authors have changed publisher hands. So you might go along with one publisher where they're merrily starting from number 1 in the series, got to number 5, and then the contract runs out and the author changes publishers, and then that publisher may or may not decide to do the audio. But then that means we've also got to go to another publisher to get the audio if they carry on, and we might not have an agreement with them. So that's why sometimes you'll find gaps in our series, because we've merrily gone our way with one, and then all of a sudden we can't get hold of the others, or they'll just stop doing they'll just decide, oh no, we'll take the author on, but we won't do the audio anymore. So it means that potentially, so then that means we might be able to record it. So we might be able to get them, but it's going to take us longer, obviously, to do that. So that's sometimes why you might find sort of gaps in the series, which is frustrating for everybody.
It is, isn't it? Yeah. Great. Thanks. Anyway.
Thank you very much for that. So just before we go and you guys all enjoy the rest of your evening, just a few things from Retina UK. If you're interested in other local peer support groups over the next couple of months, we've got Berkshire at the beginning of August, and then throughout September we've got London and Edinburgh. And also we have Buckinghamshire as well. Tyne and Wear are coming up in October. More information is available on the events page on our website. And also, please all sign up for our annual conference. We are going to be celebrating our 50th anniversary, and we've got lots planned for this particular conference. It's going to be held in London in Regent's Park. It's very local to 4 local train stations, including Euston, and 3 tube stations as well. So it's very accessible. More information again is available on the conference events page on our website. So thank you very, very much. If you do want to get in touch with us, please call our helpline on 0300 111 4000, or you can email info@retinauk.org.uk. Our website is www.retinauk.org.uk if you want more information about what we get up to. Thank you very, very much, everybody, for joining us for our Summer National Peer Support Group meeting. I'm Mark Baxter. Thanks very much to Emma for joining us this evening and giving such an amazing presentation around Calibre Audio. A big thanks to Caroline next to me, who has been checking the cons and also your messages and videos as well. So thank you, everybody. We will be back in October for our autumn meeting. Again, please stay tuned to our website and your invitations for more information to come. So from me and Caroline, thank you so much and have a wonderful evening, everybody.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Mark.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Emma. Thanks, everybody,
you.
for joining us.
Thank you very
Bye-bye.
much for having me.
Bye-bye.
We hope you've enjoyed this Retina UK peer group recording. If you have any questions or queries regarding its content, or you would like to leave us some feedback, then please do get in touch. You can contact us via our helpline on 0300 111 4000, call the office team on 01280 821 334, or alternatively, you can contact us via email at services@retinauk.org.uk. If you are interested in creating your own peer support group and assisting Retina UK to grow our peer support group network and join our amazing team of volunteers, then please do get in touch by contacting us at info@retinauk.org.uk and speak to a member of staff to see how you can get involved. Thanks again for listening, and please stay tuned for more peer support group recordings coming throughout this year. Take care and all the best. Bye for now.